Welcome to Table Talk Sessions segment of our virtual book club. We are getting together weekly on Tuesdays at 7 to discuss and have real dialogues on the book Table Talk Sessions Family Finances and Finesse. This book was written by yours truly and is still available through Amazon. Tonight, we're going to be talking about chapters 1 and 2, and a couple of ladies have joined in to share what they got out of the first two chapters. Okay, welcome to tonight's first chapter review for chapters 1 and 2 of Table Talk Sessions. What I have ready to go for tonight is I'm going to share some images that were the question stems from the book. Basically, after every chapter, I had it so that you could have real conversations. So hopefully you have read chapters 1 and 2. Chapters 1 and 2 are very short, weren't they?
I see Ashley. Hi, Ashley.
Aunt Frida. I'm going to mute. But you know what? This is what happens when you're at the table. You have some dysfunction. You know what I mean?
Who at being this?
And she is telling on herself right now. All right. Can everybody see this image of the question stem? Yes?
Did your family eat together at the table?
Okay,
Describe the
so
experience.
correct. That is the first question still. Aunt Frida, I am going to mute you. Oh my gosh. So that is the first question, Sim, is did your family eat together at the table? And if so, describe your experience. Who would like to share first?
What you do?
Did I do something? Oh.
Thank you for the person that is helping her out with muting. Bless. Anybody? Did your family eat together at the table and describe your experience? Anybody?
Oh, y'all gonna have the same answer. But no, I will say, just to start the conversation, not to say I'm a conversation starter, but see me, I think as a kid, I stayed with my mom. We stayed with my grandma. So grandma always cooked early. Like I can remember getting out of school, eating supper, I guess they would call it. But we do eat. My family, we eat dinner at the table all the time, every night. We're having dinner.
Your personal family eats together at the table every night, and
my family, my household, we eat together at the table. Yes. Growing up as a family, I can remember my mom always worked late, and my grandma cooked dinner early, so it would kind of be like, all right, whoever's here could eat type stuff.
Got you. So anyone else want to share with whether or not you ate together at your household? My experience as well would be with Ashley, that I ate with my family at the house. We ate together, as well as extended. We ate together at my grandmother's house, so I experienced it extended family and immediate. Anyone else?
Yes. Yes.
So for me, it was a little different.
Hi, can I talk now?
I'm speaking now, Aunt Frida. I have the floor. It's around my picture, so I'm talking. Okay.
Talk.
So for me, it was a little different.
Talk, Danielle.
For me, it was a little different. So most nights, my mom and I ate together. But then there were some nights when I came home, especially when I got to high school, if I had like band rehearsals or anything like that, we ate separately. I might have picked up food on the way home. We might have picked up food on the way home. I went to my room, ate, and did homework, and she went to her own area and ate as well. But when we were home at the same time and she cooked, then we ate at the table together. And then, of course, when we went down to grandma's house, everybody ate at the table together. So I had varied ways of us eating dinner.
You bring about a great point, actually. So can we go back to yours? How did it vary from when you ate together at the table? So were y'all actually, because there's a difference if you're sitting at the table eating, are you having a conversation? Is the TV on versus eating separately. You were in your room, she was in her room. So
Mhm.
even sitting at the table, I mean, it makes a difference if you're actually having conversations. Some people, I was watching Clueless the other day and the girl was talking on the phone. So what was that dynamic like sitting at the table together?
Sitting at the table eating, we still had conversation. As far as what was going on throughout the day or what might have happened at school or something of that nature. So we had a conversation going while we had dinner together. When we ate separately, that's two different things because I was in one room, she was in another. Might have been some yelling up and down the steps or bring me this, bring me that, but that's about it.
Okay, great. Same thing. What about Ashley? Well, actually, Frida Dublin wanted to comment, so I'm gonna unmute you, or you can unmute yourself, and we're gonna give you space. Rico's coming in! Yay! Help her, Tiffany. Can you help her unmute? I muted her a minute ago.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. You can share your experience.
Okay. We come from a large family, so we're always able to all sit at the table together. But on Sunday especially, we always sit on the table. And we had a table to hold about 9 people. And we always sit at the table. And we all had conversation. We talked about what happened at church. But when I moved away from home, I'm mostly by myself, live by myself. So I eat by myself most of the time. And now that I live by myself also here, I eat
by yourself? You live by yourself?
I live by myself, and I have a caretaker that comes in. I beg your pardon? I have a caretaker that comes in.
Okay.
And she bring my meal to my room, and she did in her room. And if my sister Joanne stays with me some nights, she'll go in the kitchen and eat by herself, and I eat by myself. Okay, I think I'm finished. They want me to stop talking.
You said that you stayed by yourself, but you had dinner together with your siblings and family around the table. So when you were at home, that's a great dynamic. So
yeah, when we was at home, we did. And then some nights, my mother worked late. And, like it was 9 of us, and sometimes it wasn't enough room for all of us to get to the table. So sometimes we had to eat in shifts.
Y'all ate in shifts. So were y'all having, I would love to hear from Miss Cassandra. She was sharing that, I want her to tell about her experience at the table. At your table, Frida, were you all singing songs or were you all having laughs often? How was that at the table?
It definitely did not sing at the table. That was a no. And we did have conversations because a lot of time we talked about what happened at church and so forth. And I think at one point we said to say Bible verses around the table.
Got you.
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk, sister.
Time run out.
Okay, your turn.
Okay. Well, it was a family of 8. It was 6 of us, and we sang at the table. We had to sing our grace. We were called the Wiley Tots, and that's what we did. We sung. And so, but my mother and father never ate at the dinner table with us. And that's what I was sharing with you when you said your parents sat at the table with you guys and had conversation. I didn't have that with my parents, but my siblings, yes. We sat at the table of 6. But the conversations, your goals and all that, no, we didn't get none of that. But yeah, we sung at the table.
Okay. I'm going to segue into the second question because Aunt Cassandra, you're like going right into it. There are going to be some people that when I ask this in a second, you ate together at the table, but here's my question. Did eating together at the table bring your family closer together? Why or why not? again, if like Aunt Cassandra was just sharing that they sang at the table, but they didn't have conversations about goals and things such as that. So, you know, sometimes coming to eat at the table may not bring about the result that you would think. So, did you feel like eating together at the table was beneficial? Did it help? Why or why not? And go.
I think it did. It brought our family closer together. Well, we're all close anyway. It's 4 of us right behind each other. In fact, this month is 3 of my siblings' birthday in this month. And so we were tight. Like, we're still tight to this day. We do FaceTime every day. It may be 4 of us or 5 of us. It's never all 6 of us, but we stay in touch with each other. So it made us, the children, closer.
Okay, so with you saying that, so you're saying yes, the table did bring you closer together, or was it something else that
With
caused
my
you to be close?
siblings, yes, not with my parents.
Got you. Do you think that's because they didn't sit with you at the table?
Right. They didn't spend time with us like that. They raised us in fear, not love. You know, you do what I
Wow.
say, not as I do, you know, so we was just raised that way.
Okay, so how does that impact you, or how did that impact you as you grew older? So not having that relationship with your parents, but you say you FaceTime your
We
siblings.
all individually have to get that relationship with our parents. And I work real hard to have a relationship with my mother and my father. Some of my siblings don't have a relationship with my mother and father.
Wow.
So it's to each his own. You have to reach out and do what you can do to keep that relationship with your parents. So we all individually have a different relationship with our parents. It's like I can talk to my mother and father the way none of the other 5 can. So we all individually have our own relationship with them.
That is a good point in perspective. Anybody else want to elaborate or share on that?
I'll just say something. Yeah. What was the question? Did it? Oh, yes, it did bring. I think it did definitely bring the family close together. Because, like I said, younger, staying with my grandmother. Of course, that was when people were coming to anyway. And even when mom was there. So if I did sit down, if my mom wasn't there at the time, I was sitting with someone at the table. And so as far as relationship with those that I was sitting with or eating with, it definitely bring you close. Uncle does it on Sundays. Well, not now, let me say pre-pandemic. He would do every Sunday, you know, that would be the place you go to. And then you just sit there and, you know, like you said, have conversations. You find out about people's lives, or if you're going through something, you talk about it, or, you know, because, you know, it was just a place to talk, and you get to know a little bit more about your families. And then they always talk about old stories growing up. So you kind of get a feel for them growing up too. So yes, it does bring you together.
That's a good point. So let me ask you this. So my family is here, and you probably read in the story how we would get together at the table. We grew up with our cousins because grandma's house was the house that everybody came to, similar to what you're saying.
Yes.
But what I'm realizing, like I see Danielle or I see my other cousins that still come around, but some have grown up, but we don't see each other as often. And then their children are having children, so they're not experiencing necessarily the same dynamic that we had growing up. How has your family kept up with the engagement with all of the cousins and keeping it going?
Well, of course, you always have a couple of stragglers that may or may not come, and then so what? I mean, everybody just knew on Sunday. Like my uncle, for Sundays now, well, before pandemic, on Sundays everybody knew that he cooks every Sunday, and he expects people to come by. So we go by, but it's mostly like the same ones. It is harder for the ones that don't either come by as often or kind of. And they may feel like, oh, well, nobody told me. And it's like, well, we weren't told. I just go, So I do have like those cousins, they'll text like, what you doing? And I might say, oh, over Uncle Reggie house cooking. They're like, oh, I didn't know y'all was over there. I'm like, well, we go every Sunday, whether he asks you to come or not. He always cooked enough. There's plenty here. So you do have that, like, oh, well, nobody didn't tell me nothing. I'm not going to come around. So then you do see that in their kids, like I'm not gonna say black sheep, but it's like, oh, well, that whole feel of my family didn't want me around type stuff, and you can see it in the kids somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but
No, I definitely understand. Yeah, I definitely get that.
oh, okay, I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it.
Or, I mean, but you think about too when people bring this up and they say cousins end up marrying cousins, or you go to school,
don't know 'em.
college, and you don't know them. And so, just like you're taking, I'm sure, your children with you when you go to your uncle's house, they're
Mhm.
seeing you go to uncle's house. And I
Correct.
think that if kids do not see the importance of connecting with their family, then they're not going to know to keep that going or the value of that.
Yes, and I do make sure, like I said, like that was just one thing, you know, having my own kids, that I wanted to make sure my kids know their cousins. So like even
Mhm.
now, it might be like we see somebody in, you know, at the store or just, you know, church or something. I'll make sure I say that's your cousin right there. You know, if it's
Good.
second cousin, but yeah, it's second or third. But yes, I want to make sure that growing up, my child knows the value of family, not just the household, but your, you know, grandparents, cousins, and stuff too.
Yeah, I think too, what you were just referencing with the black sheep is that when those cousins come around to welcome them or to make them feel like, man, you've been missed. And I try to take pictures with them. I don't know how crazy that is, but I'm like, hey, let's take a picture. You know, I don't know when the next time I'm going to see you. So come on through.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Danielle, you have anything to add, or Frida?
No, I mean, I'm in agreement. I think for us, especially, that it did bring our family closer together. I do believe for those that would come on a regular basis to the table. You know, we sit around and we have our conversations. Even to this day, when we are able to come together, we come together and we have our conversations about what's going on in each other's lives.
Mm-hmm.
We try to help if we can. Um, Not that you're trying to get in people's business, but just so that you know what's going on. And if you can lend a hand, lend a hand. Because, you know, as we were taught, if one has, we all have. So that's one main thing that we can do as far as coming to the table. Don't have that pride where you can't come to the table and say, hey, I need some help, or
Right.
hey, can you help me out with this? Because that's what your family is there for, is for you to come and get the help that you need, get the support that you need. Because, you know, that's what, if you go to anyone, you should be able to go to your family and not go to always have to go to outsiders.
That is very true. That should be, I would say that should be the dynamic of, you know, the family. I've heard horror stories though, so I know that to not be true for everybody, you know.
Right.
Which I hope in the upcoming weeks that more people will join in, because it'll be interesting to hear some different dynamics, which is going to lead to the last question. Frida, did you have something you want to share? I got you on mute. Okay. Can you press that button? Okay, there you go.
Okay. Okay, I don't have anything to ask you next question.
I cannot. What?
Ask the next question, because y'all won't let me.
Here is the last question. All right, you can jump in on this one. Here's the last question for tonight is, do you think eating together at the table is important? Why or why not? And then what about alternative households? So single parent households, or some people were raised by their grandparents solely, so they didn't get the experience living in a household, could have been fostering or adoptive. How important is that? And go.
Okay. It is very important that they all eat together, because you can find out what's been going on in their lives that day or what problems they have. Because, you know, some kids don't want to come out and say what's been going on, that they've been bullied or whatever. But by you being at the table and questioning them, it may make them open up and say, you know, what's going on with them. And so I think it's really good, because, you know, let every kid go to his own room and not never, because communication is good. You know, I live by myself, and when people come along, they making me laugh in here. They making me look silly on your show, and I'm not trying to mess your show up. when people come along, I talk, and they say, "Girl, you just talking away." Well, I'm talking because I haven't talked to anybody all day long. So it's good. Go to the next person.
That is good though. Now see, that's different. She lives by herself.
As I'm not Grace.
She
They're
lives.
making me laugh.
I can't. She gives a good point though. She lives by herself, and so people come into her home. If you see the blue, you see Cassandra's at her house, so people coming by gives her a chance to talk. So even as a grown person, having that dynamic of being able to talk, and they're passing trays around, so they're eating right now. Look at that. Just
I'm gonna turn it around so you can. I'm gonna turn around so you can see them all.
Yes, they're now currently at the table as they're on Zoom.
That's right.
Hilarious.
Eating fish for Monica. Don't let your mother know this now, or we'll be in trouble.
She didn't even get it. She said she forgot about the meeting, so I won't relay it. But y'all could have told me because I was kind of hungry.
You would have come.
Yeah, I got off work at a decent time today.
Oh, the next time we'll make sure we'll let you know. But
Now look at that miscommunication right there. You got some people that's over there eating, and then one is over here and found out. Ashley, look, Ashley just said that.
Hey, but then at least she took it well because you have that person that'll get mad and stop talking to you. Some people take it differently.
But we don't have that kind of family.
That's
Ashley,
right. That's
we
the
said,
good
okay,
part.
next time.
Like,
Hey.
no, I got off at a decent time today. I could have made it, but it's okay. It's all right.
Not just that, but if they said it, they meant what they said when they said it, and it is gonna be done just like so.
And if your mother hear about it, she's gonna call herself.
Oh, she's gonna get in it. Her sister.
Okay, Tiffany, she's now in the screen. What do you have to share? Because that was the last question. What's your output? Input, sorry.
You're doing an awesome job, Siobhan. This was a great first show.
I cannot. See, y'all, they're on recording. I told them to have some couth about themselves, and they coming out here cutting up. Listen, I'm gonna have to edit it. It's okay. What is your input?
I think a lot of what you said in the book was pretty spot on. Obviously, we were in the same household, so we listened to a lot of the same conversations. In retrospect now, you kind of see the value in having those conversations, but at the time, I wasn't trying to hear that stuff.
Very true. And I share that as well. Well, see, she has her, Ashley. Yes, Ashley.
Oh, you could go ahead and expand on her comment if you want to.
No. I was actually going to get Kayla to join in on it to see what her perspective was. But go ahead. I'll come back.
I was going to say, piggyback off of Tiffany, that family sitting together at the table is important because when me and Tiffany were roommates, and if I cooked, I made sure she came out of that room and ate with me because I didn't want to eat by myself.
That's very true.
Great.
She would be mad at me some days, but she would come out and sit at the table and eat. So, and that's why we're family now.
And she was acting. Because she knew better. She was acting because she knew better. She knew better.
Right.
Thank
She
you.
knew
That's
about
all I
eating
need
at
to
the
know.
table.
Well, I know that now, but back then I didn't know. I'm like, hey, she ever coming out?
Mm-mm.
Kayla, you
Kayla.
have some commentary?
Yes, do you have commentary?
How do you feel about eating dinner at the table as a family? What do you think the benefits are of doing that?
I think it's important to do that
And why is that?
because if you don't eat with your
Look at the
family,
camera. Okay, look in the sky. So you have a chance to just look in the
I'm
sky.
thinking, well, it's important to eat with your family because if you don't, then you still obviously have times to talk to each other, but it's a good time to talk about how your day went and like what happened and other things like that, and throughout your day, and talking to each other.
So if you, Kayla, for example, you like to be on your electronics often, when coming to the table, when is another time that you would be able to talk to your mom or someone else other than being at the table? When else does that occur?
All the time.
All the time.
Shut up. Yes, all the time.
Listen. So, where else, Kayla, would be a good time or a spot to engage with your mom or dad or relatives?
At the table is good. That's a good answer.
At the
Now,
table?
see, and Ashley, they do a great job at their home when it's dinner time and they're at the table and no cell phones allowed. So a few times we've had an opportunity to break bread together. Bobby is real clear. Up, no cell phones.
That's
Put
right.
your phones on vibrate.
But then the thing is, we have TV and we have to, now I'm trying to get them to turn the TV off.
Oh, I got you.
Ashley, that is fantastic. You know
Right.
what too is like you be sitting down watching a movie and I'll be like, present, be present.
Be present.
And I'm gonna
That's
tell you
right.
what, this right here, this cell phone situation, people are addicted and they don't know they're addicted. You know what I'm saying? If you can't sit in a room with somebody and have a conversation, I got to be scrolling. You got an addiction. You know what I'm saying? You do. I be like,
Look at that.
huh?
All about being engaged at the table. We know what's going on. Everybody talking to
Exactly. Yes. Having undivided attention. Or your sweet son be somewhere trying to talk to you and you be on the phone and he gonna feel like you ain't listening.
That's right.
Bless it. Okay, well, that was all for tonight. I appreciate all of you all joining in. And see, that wasn't too bad, was it?
Not at all.
So I'll see you back
Okay.
here next week. Was Tuesday at 7 fun? Was that a good day and time?
Oh, that was a good time. And you know what? Next time, ask this question. Do you think you should have a television in your dining room area?
Let's answer that right now.
Ashley was kind of hinting to that a few minutes ago.
Should there be a television within the dining room? And go.
While
You
you're
said no.
eating?
Yes.
Probably not.
Turn it off.
No,
Turn it off.
Turn the TV off. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Turn the
think
TV off.
we're working on turning the TV off, but because they be trying to watch the TV while they eat.
And don't
I
want
want
to
to
talk.
talk. I'm a talker, so I want to talk.
You be watching it while you cooking.
I don't have one directly in my kitchen, but the living room's right beside it. So
I definitely do. Mine is open, so I definitely be having a different world or something playing. I have music playing, something be going on.
but unfortunately, when I cook, I don't have a TV, but I got my phone. So
Yes,
But
phone
but
too.
can you remember, Siobhan, when y'all didn't watch TV all week long until the weekend?
To the weekend.
We're not on
yeah.
that phase of the book. We're not there yet, Frida. We're not
I'm
there.
Frida.
Not you shut.
You know what?
We're not on that subject tonight.
oh, that's a big time.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? I'm
Y'all don't want to get to
I
that
didn't
chapter.
even, but I didn't really address that because you know what? I was telling my mom and daddy, I said, I could have really got into some details, but I try to keep it more light than anything because I think that people would have thought, oh, that was excessive. However, it kept us focused.
Was excessive.
I don't agree with her. I don't agree. We did not watch television in the weekday.
Yeah,
as
we
she
did.
said.
Tell the truth, Siobhan. Yeah, we did.
Y'all sneaked and watched it, didn't you?
We watched it when they were not present.
Moesha, every
Y'all
Monday
sneaked
night
and
at
watched
8
it, and your
o'clock, I had
dad
to
sneaked
watch
across the street.
I mean, that man would come and fill the TV to make sure it won't hide. I didn't understand it, but
But then he sneak across the street and watch it, didn't he?
what?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Siobhan.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm pleading the fifth on most of this stuff now, Frida. I ain't testifying on all this.
Too late. Okay, there.
Tiffany was the ringleader. I was the youngest. I was just following orders.
I bet you were. Scotty probably.
Say what?
Scotty probably was ringleader.
Scotty and Tiffany were like this. They were something else. I was a mediator. My God.
I'll see about that.
Okay,
Okay, all right then. I've enjoyed this. This was nice.
Okay.
Next time I'll do a little better.
You're going live. You're going live. And everybody gonna see you live in action. Welcome. Not Oprah, but welcome to Table Talk Sessions, and you're live.
All right. Oprah wouldn't let me be on her show.
Okay, see you next week, Tuesday at 7. All right.
Good
All right,
job,
then.
Sean.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you for
Good
joining
job.
in. See you next time. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Wow, that was so much fun, and what great dialogues that we had. Join us again next Tuesday at 7. If you want more information, please find us on Facebook by searching Table Talk Sessions. Follow us on Instagram with Table Talk Sessions, and look for us on our upcoming Zoom chat.